truly global business. We employ about 4 million people worldwide with their families together, depending on the size of the family. That's maybe 20, 30, 40 million people. I know in China that's a medium-sized city, but it's still a sizable business. We have all in all nearly 900 billion of turnover in the packaging and printing industry. So we are a absolutely sizable and important business. And more to the point, we are a business, one of the few businesses, where you can truly say, will we be still around in 50 years? Is this a future business? Yes, it is. Because what do the end users of our products consume? Either printed commercial things or packaging for food, beverages, and consumer goods. Do you think in 50 years down the road, people will still buy packaged food, beverages, and consumer goods? And will the population grow? Will in 50 years down the road, everybody in our country still own an individual car? So I believe we have a massive future in our industry, but it's an industry with an enormous amount of change. It's one of the fastest changing industries that I have been in, and we have to adapt to it. And I think that's what DRUPA is for. DRUPA is to present to the world all of our efforts, how we cope with this change, how we cope with the changing demands of our customers. So in the focus of the DRUPA is the technology developments of the next 5 or 10 years.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting start. So in the last global DRUPA trends report, which came out at the end of last year, it showed that commercial printing is growing, but only in developing economies. In other regions, it's actually stagnating. So can you tell us, do you see future growth potential and trends that DRUPA should focus on?
Yes. I mean, I read these economic forecasts as everybody else here. We have a few people who own a crystal ball. They know exactly what the numbers will be in 5 years. We get these numbers, and yes, in reality, it is that commercial printing is more or less a flat line all over the world, and packaging printing is growing at a rate of between 3 and 4%. So overall, it's a change. But that's nothing which should surprise us. That's nothing which we can't cope with. It is a change. If you look back 20 years, in my company, newspaper printing was a big business. That has changed. So also the world from commercial printing to packaging printing will change. That's a normal thing, and we have to adapt to it. We have to see what the business model are that we will be successful with. And I believe that will mostly be packaging in the future. Packaging and everything around it, that is labels and all of these things which are an important part of it, but that'll certainly grow.
Okay, you mentioned the future scenario before. You were talking about 50 years in the future. What do you think the future holds? I mean, the motto is we create the future. What do you think is going to be happening in 50 years?
I have a very precise picture. I know it exactly. I know it exactly, especially for me. I have an exact forecast. But in reality, it's what I said. The world population will grow from about 8 billion to 10, 11, 12, 15, whatever it is. But more to the point, the so-called middle class in the world population. That is something which you can define any way you like. But middle class is somebody who buys packaged food and consumer goods. They're out of poverty in that first segment. That middle class in the next 10 years in the world will double. And that'll be the driver for consumer goods, packaged foods, and liquids. And therefore, I see a continuous growth. Now, as we all know, the economy is very predictable. I think we have somebody who tells us exactly how. So no doubt we have these things. And everybody who's in that business has been on that roller coaster. And we are rolling not exactly here at the moment. But if you look at the megatrend will be, if you look at packaging, it'll be a growth because it's driven by the enormous growth of the middle class population worldwide.
Great, thank you for this big picture. One final question, Dr. Plesske. As chairman of the DRUPA committee, you've been busy traveling the world promoting the unique proposal of DRUPA. Can you tell us your key observations and experiences from traveling around the world to these various countries?
It was a great chance to present DRUPA in these tours. It was also a personal experience which was very unique. We visited more than 20 countries and about 30 big cities in a few weeks. And we talked from people from Bogota to Ho Chi Minh City to China to Japan to Europe to everybody, and we went to meet the groups, the organizations in these countries and all the customers. And one thing is, the most remarkable thing is, the world has different dynamics. The dynamic these days in Asia is astounding. It's an absolutely forward movement, no doubt. The dynamics in the United States and the Americas is a forward movement, but not as dynamic, and Europe lacks a bit of dynamics. But if you look at the common denominator that we have, the common denominator is 80% of the people that we talk to talk about the same things. What will sustainability do as a change to the business? How do we cope with production costs? And by the way, how do we cope with production costs and how do we get more competitive? How do we find skilled labor in this world? And how do we keep all of our production running? So that's the same wherever you go. I would say 80% of the topics of what I talk with people are the same between Ho Chi Minh City and Düsseldorf. To say just one city.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the big picture, for your overview, Dr. Andreas Plesske. Wish you all the best to DRUPA. So I have another question for you in the audience. Who can